My beloved child, listen carefully, because this moment has been chosen with precision, and nothing about your life right now is accidental. You are not here by chance, and this message did not reach you randomly. It is reaching you because heaven has marked this exact moment to speak to your heart. I have seen the weight you have been carrying silently, the questions you never spoke out loud, the faith you held on to even when nothing around you made sense. You felt overlooked, misunderstood, and delayed. Yet every delay was working in your favor. Every closed door was shielding you from paths that were not meant for you. And every silent season was shaping a strength inside you that noise could never create. You thought you were losing time, but in truth you were gaining depth. You thought nothing was happening, but in the unseen realm, everything was aligning. From this moment forward, a shift is unfolding. Not loud, not chaotic, but precise and unstoppable. I am recalibrating your direction, restoring what was drained, and replacing exhaustion with clarity. What once required struggle will begin to flow. What once felt heavy will become lighter. And what once confused you will start making sense piece by piece. Do not rush the process. Trust the guidance that is unfolding step by step, because the path ahead will require wisdom more than speed. I am teaching you discernment so you do not repeat old cycles. I am strengthening your boundaries so you do not pour into places that cannot hold you. And I am sharpening your vision so you recognize what is truly aligned with your purpose. You have been underestimated, but that was intentional, because what I am about to reveal through you does not need validation from people. It only needs obedience and faith. Stay grounded, stay humble, and stay consistent, because consistency in hidden seasons produces authority in visible ones. You will notice changes first within yourself. Your reactions will shift, your patience will deepen, and your confidence will stabilize. And then you will see changes around you as opportunities begin to appear without force. I am not asking you to figure everything out. I am asking you to trust the steps you are given today, because clarity comes through movement, not overthinking. Release the fear of missing out, because nothing meant for you can bypass you. And nothing that bypasses you was ever meant for you. I am bringing connections that are aligned, conversations that unlock doors, and moments that confirm you are exactly where you need to be. You will no longer chase validation. You will attract alignment, and peace will become your confirmation. Remember this season, because one day you will look back and realize this was the turning point, the quiet beginning of a louder purpose. Walk forward without doubt, because you are guided, you are protected, and you are being prepared for more than you can currently see. Among the stars where silence speaks louder than noise and eternity watches without blinking. I continue this message not from a beginning, and not toward an end, but from the middle of your becoming, because your life itself is unfolding mid-sentence, and heaven is writing while you are walking. Among the stars you were known before you were named, and among the stars your essence was marked with purpose, long before your struggles appeared. So do not measure yourself by the weight you carry now, because that weight is temporary, while what placed you here is eternal. Among the stars there is no rush and no delay, there is only alignment, and what you call waiting has been a careful positioning, so that when the moment arrives you are not only ready to receive, but strong enough to sustain. You have mistaken stillness for stagnation and quiet for absence. Yet among the stars creation happens in silence, and power gathers without announcement. This is why your life has felt invisible at times, because what is forming in you cannot be rushed into visibility without damage. Among the stars, fire does not destroy what is true, it refines it. And every test you endured was never meant to end you, but to introduce you to a deeper version of yourself that could only be revealed through pressure. You wondered why clarity came slowly and answers arrived late. But among the stars, wisdom unfolds layer by layer, because instant understanding often collapses under responsibility. What you are stepping into requires maturity, not urgency, depth, not speed. Among the stars, identity is not built by applause but by alignment. And this is why praise was withheld and validation was delayed, so you would not confuse your worth with reactions. You were taught to stand without being seen, so that when you are seen, you do not fall apart. Among the stars, loyalty is tested in obscurity, and faith is proven when there is no evidence to lean on. And you remained even when doubt whispered alternatives. That staying mattered more than you realize. Among the stars there are records kept not of your perfection but of your persistence, not of your victories but of your return after each fall. Every time you chose to rise again, something was written in your favor. Among the stars, direction is not revealed all at once, because destiny is not consumed in one glance. It is discovered through obedience to the next step. and you have been given enough light for now, even if you demanded the whole map. Among the stars, peace is the sign of correctness, not comfort. And the unease you felt in certain places was guidance trying to redirect you away from futures that would have cost you your soul. You were protected from doors that looked promising but carried hidden erosion, and you were frustrated by paths that seemed slow yet preserved your integrity. Among the stars, your sensitivity is not weakness, it is perception. Your depth is not excess, it is capacity. And your questions are not rebellion. They are signs of an awake spirit refusing shallow answers. You were never meant to fit into systems that reward numbness and routine, because you were designed to carry awareness, and awareness disrupts comfort. Among the stars, timing is precise and nothing is random. Not the people who crossed you briefly, nor the ones who stayed longer than expected. Each encounter left an imprint meant to shape discernment. You learned who to trust not by theory but by experience, and that education came at a cost, but it also came with wisdom that cannot be stolen. Among the stars, loss is not punishment, it is pruning, and removal creates room for expansion. Yet the mind resists release because it confuses familiarity with safety. You had to unlearn attachment to what felt known so you could step into what is true. Among the stars, calling does not shout, it pulls. And you felt that pull even when you tried to ignore it, even when you attempted to settle for less demanding versions of life. That restlessness was sacred dissatisfaction, a signal that your soul refused to shrink to fit convenience. Among the stars, you are not late, you are exact, you are not broken, you are becoming. And you are not behind, you are being refined out of sequence so your outcome will not resemble the ordinary. Among the stars, authority is born in surrender, not control. And once you stopped forcing outcomes, you began attracting alignment. You noticed how effort shifted into flow when you stopped resisting the lesson and started receiving it. Among the stars, there is a difference between solitude and isolation. And what you experienced was solitude meant to strengthen inner voice, so outer noise would not confuse you later. You were taught to hear guidance without crowds, so crowds would not drown it out when they arrive. Among the stars, your compassion was sharpened by pain, not to make you bitter, but to make you capable of holding others without losing yourself. You learned boundaries the hard way because your heart was large and unguarded. But now wisdom stands beside kindness, and balance has replaced sacrifice without discernment. Among the stars, leadership is quiet at first. Influence grows underground before it surfaces. And impact is measured not by how many see you, but by how deeply you change what you touch. You are being trained to move with intention, to speak with weight, and to act with clarity that does not seek approval. Among the stars, fear dissolves not by avoidance but by understanding. And you have faced enough of it to recognize that most of it was imagination protecting old wounds. Courage did not arrive as confidence, it arrived as movement despite uncertainty. And that was enough. Among the stars, trust is built through consistency, not intensity. And your steady return to faith even after disappointment has built something unshakable. You did not abandon what called you even when it stopped rewarding you immediately. And that loyalty positioned you for longevity rather than quick applause. Among the stars, destiny does not chase those who run from themselves. It reveals itself to those who are willing to be honest in the dark. And you were honest even when it hurt. That honesty cleared the path ahead. Among the stars, you are being invited into a season where effort will meet grace, where preparation will meet opportunity, and where your inner alignment will reflect outwardly. This will not feel like chaos. It will feel like recognition, as if life is finally responding in the same language you have been speaking all along. Among the stars, remember this moment not as the finish but as the acceleration point, where patience turns into momentum, and silence turns into clarity. Continue forward without forcing, speak without shrinking, love without abandoning yourself, and act without fear of being misunderstood. Among the stars, you are not required to prove your worth, only to honor it. And as you do, the path will continue unfolding exactly as it should. Starlit currents of becoming. Carry this voice forward where meaning is forged in motion and not announced at gates. And I speak now from the living middle of your journey, using words that have not been used before in this telling because your path demands fresh language and untrodden sound. Within constellated silence, you were calibrated for endurance before you were introduced to recognition. And the calibration felt like pressure, because pressure teaches precision. Every hesitation you endured carved awareness, and every misstep refined navigation, until your inner compass learned to read truth without external confirmation. In this field of infinite nightlights, patience ripens into momentum, and waiting transforms into alignment. and what once felt like pause reveals itself as placement. You are not assembled from borrowed fragments, you are composed from intention and breath and resolve, and that composition required seasons of quiet assembly beyond the gaze of spectators. Here among the luminous distances, certainty is replaced by trust, and trust becomes the instrument that tunes your days. When doubt attempted to rename you unfinished, you continued walking, and walking is how maps are born. Your life is not a series of reactions, it is a procession of choices, and each choice has trained your spirit to distinguish echo from guidance. In the star-held expanse, courage is not loud, it is durable, and durability grows where applause is absent. You learn to choose integrity when shortcuts waved invitations, and that refusal stitched strength into your spine. Now the field responds to your steadiness, and opportunities align not because you chase them, but because you carry coherence. This coherence is the language of doors opening without force. You are stepping into exchanges where effort meets reciprocity, and intention meets provision, and clarity meets calm. Let the old urgency dissolve, because urgency fractures attention while readiness gathers it. You are ready because you remained teachable, and restraint matured your reach. In this widening orbit, compassion is paired with discernment, and generosity is guided by wisdom, so your giving nourishes rather than drains. You are discovering that boundaries are not barriers, they are bridges to sustainable devotion. Sustainment is the mark of those built for distance, not sprint. As the stars witness your steadied pace, influence accrues quietly, and trust accumulates naturally, and your presence becomes a harbor rather than a storm. This is the craft of becoming dependable to yourself. Remember how solitude trained your hearing so noise would not command your direction, and how silence taught you to weigh words before releasing them. Those lessons now translate into authority without aggression and confidence without display. Continue forward without compressing your breath to fit expectations, and without diluting your truth to earn comfort. The path responds to authenticity with precision. Keep choosing what aligns over what impresses, and watch how ease accompanies honesty. This chapter does not announce arrival. It confirms trajectory. And trajectories matter more than milestones because they define tomorrow. Stay in motion, stay awake, stay kind, stay exact. And the unfolding will keep pace with your fidelity to what is real. Between cosmic currents and luminous veils, you realize that transformation has no edges, and time itself is a spiral that bends around patience and preparation. And now your footsteps echo in chambers where light has never paused. Midway through existence, before recognition or claim, your awareness gathers into uncharted resonance, absorbing frequencies previously inaudible and translating them into courage, subtle power, and unwavering clarity. No prior grammar, no borrowed phrase, no repetition can convey this exact pulse, because it is your own unfolding manifested through energy and intention. Where the ordinary ends, you are beginning, and the moments that felt unremarkable were incubation chambers for ingenuity, intuition, and the creation of channels through which destiny flows. Between worlds and whispers, the architecture of your new perception forms, drawing threads of truth and shadow into patterns that align with your soul's blueprint. Every disappointment, every misunderstood gesture, every delay that tasted bitter is now revealed as the crucible in which your patience, discernment, and vision were honed. You were never misaligned, only positioned, measured, and prepared to intersect with what is vast, timeless, and unspeakably potent. Midway, the heart expands and contracts, not in fear but in recognition, calibrating desire with integrity and dreams with responsibility. Your persistence is a river cutting new channels through stone of habit, inertia, and doubt, revealing underground currents that no surface observer can perceive. Between what was and what is emerging, your capacity to receive multiplies exponentially, because the inner apparatus of trust, flexibility, and presence has been installed through experience that felt disproportionate, but was precisely necessary. Do not mistake turbulence for error, for turbulence signals the arrival of deeper alignment. What shakes structures is clearing space for what is true, eternal, and harmonious. Between choices that felt inconsequential and outcomes that seemed distant, invisible lines of causality converged, and now your readiness resonates across spheres of opportunity, influence, and unseen support. You are not beginning at zero, nor at the end. You are mid-formation, a living vector pointing toward magnitude, unseen yet potent. Every thought that rises spontaneously, every impulse that stirs intuition, every risk your spirit tolerates without capitulation, is confirmation of the orchestration unfolding quietly around and within you. Midway, miracles are not spectacular. They are subtle, unrecognized, yet undeniable in their cumulative force, and this is the architecture of sustained grace. Between the known and the unformed, your awareness is a compass that points to integrity, depth, and authenticity, attracting circumstances that respect the gravity of your being. Nothing superficial will endure. Nothing half-hearted will persist because your frequency has shifted, filtering what is congruent from what is superficial. The middle is alive with infinite opportunity, and your role is to navigate it without haste, with courage, and with precision. Each alignment that now appears is an echo of decisions made when unseen. Each connection that manifests is a reflection of resilience demonstrated when ignored. Each breakthrough is a cumulative product of perseverance calibrated in silence. Between the stars you move with quiet authority, drawing power from your own consistency, and every step reinforces the unbroken chain of preparation, insight, and readiness. You are neither late nor early. You are exact, calibrated, and central to the unfolding plan that is larger than comprehension. Midway, fear loses grip. Hesitation dissolves, and presence becomes sufficient to summon provision, clarity, and recognition without struggle. This passage demands trust, patience, and surrender, because the universe conspires not around speed but coherence, not around noise but harmony. Every challenge is an unseen teacher, every obstacle a sculptor of wisdom, every delay a masterclass in perception, and every silence a vault storing keys for later revelation. Between past and future, you exist as living alignment, and the consequences of this alignment will manifest through actions, relationships, and opportunities that are unprecedented in their precision and timeliness. Remain vigilant in inner observation, resilient in outer action, and constant in the devotion to truth, because the convergence of your readiness and the universe's orchestration is imminent, unstoppable, and profound. Midway is sacred. Within it, your transformation is neither complete nor incomplete. It is alive, evolving, and accelerating.